A busy day, as always, a busy day. I know I say this often. The voice that you heard, I usually introduce her, and I'm doing a poor job of introducing her.
It's okay.
Is the super producer, Carlene Bragg.
Hi.
But yeah, you got to give Carlene her props. She does such a great job.
Thank
Always
you.
running around doing great things and being great.
I've been running around today.
You have been running around today. Another person who runs around doing great things.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
A shining example of kindness.
Yes.
It may seem like a simple act,
Right.
but not everybody practices being kind.
Right.
And
It's something that's so overlooked. It shouldn't be undervalued.
And I tell you guys that, be kind because you just never know what folks are going throughout their day.
Right.
So it always helps to be kind. And one of those folks, he's not only a Hall of Fame person, he's a Hall of Fame broadcaster. Larry Sprinkle, weatherman Larry Sprinkle, special
Hall
guest
of
here.
Famer in the house.
Oh man, I embarrass Larry when I do all of this.
You can tell look at his face.
But Larry, you were inducted into the North Carolina Broadcaster Association Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That such an incredible honor, man. Congratulations. We're proud of you.
Thank
you
you.
deserve it.
Yeah.
You deserve all the things.
Keep talking. I'm listening.
Take me through, I guess, that moment. We were kind of talking about it before we got on air. When you walked in, because that was in Raleigh. You drove.
It was in Raleigh.
Yeah, it was in Raleigh. So you walked
Raleigh.
into the pavilion. What was that
at
like?
the Angus Pavilion there, and it was North Carolina Association of Broadcasters, an organization that's been around many, many years. Radio and television represented all over the state, from the mountains to the beaches, every spot in between. And when I got the call from them, it's probably been maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, saying that I was going to be inducted. I was almost speechless then. And when I walked in yesterday to the event, I was hit with emotion. I thought it was just like it just enveloped me. I didn't know it was going to happen. Luckily, you didn't see any of the tears, but they were there. I think I was hugging somebody.
I think I see one tear.
Yeah, there's several there. But so many people from the station who work here now, people I used to work with in every department, from management to news directors and then our president and general manager of WCNC TV, Joan Barrett, her introduction to me, I was listening to that. I was like, who are you talking about? It was monumental. It was very special. And then to go up on stage and to accept that. And I really haven't showed this closely, but and I really haven't looked at it. Just now taking this is the what do you see that or not?
Wow, that is incredible.
That's pretty.
Yes, it has my name engraved on it. Yeah,
It should.
There.
You're a Hall of
No,
Famer.
it's pretty heavy.
Does it have your middle name on there too?
Did
you omit
that? The Hall of Famer Sprinkle.
Okay.
Right there.
Good. They got it.
It's my new middle name on there. No, it's I can't describe what the feeling is. It was almost surrealistic to be there, to think that, I saw those names like Edward R. Murrow and David Brinkley, Howard Cosell, Andy Griffith, Billy Graham, and I went, I'm going to be on that list among so many broadcasters, radio and television, people who are on air, off air, who've been inducted, and to be among those is as special as it gets. And I would say in my career in broadcasting, about 95% of it has been in North Carolina. I was in Memphis, Tennessee, in radio for a while, and then of all crazy things, 2 years of my life, well, a lot of my life was spent traveling, but 2 years I was in radio and high school in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. I actually had a job in radio there, which is a story that would take an hour to tell or more.
We have a shot of young Larry. How old were you? Were you 14 years old in this picture right here?
This is that's my first job.
You look the same.
Well, you keep talking. WBBO Radio, Forest City, North Carolina, and that's where I basically was the station gopher. They knew I was interested in radio, and they said, "Well, come over after school every day." And I literally would take the trash out, go across the street, empty. Back in those days, empty the trash, the ash trays. Back in those days,
they smoked in the newsroom.
Yeah. Not me. No, that was. And one day at the station, one of the DJs took a break. I'll be back. Just watch that record. Right back in those days, playing records or vinyl. He walked out and didn't come back, and the record's going fading. Da, da, da. And I went, oh gosh! So I ran over. Clipped the mic, and back in those days, it was Larry Sprinkle, a 14-year-old kid, and I sounded like it. WBBO, it's Larry Sprinkle. That was the Beatles. I want to hold your hand on WBBO. Bang. And so that was my initiation to radio. And they said, okay, you proved you can do it. Now you have a show. And they gave me a show after school every day, a couple hours. The program director sent me down and said, Larry, you are 14 years old. No one should know that. Back in those days, no one knew what you looked like.
Yeah.
You tell people on the phone you're 20. So I had to tell people, if they asked me my age, I'm done. And my voice, they said, and we're going to work on that. Because I talked like this back in those days. I had to really bring the voice down. And I had to be like this. I'm a big-time DJ now. So on the air, I was like this. Off the air, I was like this. And I told the story yesterday about I would always get phone calls. You take requests. And quite often it was ladies calling me. And so I had to be really cool on the phone. It was like, okay, on the phone. Hello, WBBO. I'm Larry Sprinkle. How are you? Oh, yeah, I'll play that. And so I get calls, every day. And at one point, one of the ladies called me and said, hey, we'd like to come down and meet you. And so at that moment, I went, yeah, come on down, meet me. and they said, we're on the way. And then I went, oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, gosh. I don't know they got to meet me. So here I am, you saw that picture. My pants were up to here. You could put your wallet in just like that. And I had the crew cut. I was a gangly teenager, and I looked like one, and acted like one. Not on the air, off the air. So I saw the car pull up. I saw 5 girls get out, and they're approaching the door, and I went, oh, no. And they knocked on the door. Remember, no one knows what I look like.
Right.
They knocked on the door. And I opened the door, and they're like this. I'm standing here, and they're going, "Where's Larry?" Looking for everyone. He is. He's in the studio. He's interviewing the Beatles right now. He said, "Come back again, okay?" Boom, close the door. So, to them, I was just some guy hanging out. Larry was in another studio somewhere, not realizing that that's the same guy you've been talking to, who was I could not talk to a lady for maybe another 2 or 3 years, face to face. But yeah, it was kind of my initiation into you got to be cool all the time, not just on the air, and get your act together. Yeah.
Always so cool. That's where he got it from. I do want to ask you this, as a guy, you've been doing this for a long time, and this industry continues to evolve and change, and we constantly have to keep up with the times. How have you been able to continue to be inspired, motivated to wake up and do this? Because it doesn't get easier.
No, and in fact, it's always an evolution. There's a constant change. And I've been to the station 40 years, and in those 40 years at the TV station, I've been under several different ownerships and managers and news directors and personnel changes. So there is a situation where you have to go with the flow. Yeah. You have to accept change and understand that there's different news philosophies, different people you have to work with. And I think it's just accepting that and realizing that I'm not going to change them. I have to kind of let them change me, but still be myself. Yeah, that's just the nature of the business. And this business, the changes have happened really just the past several years. A lot of it since COVID, but the changes are almost a daily basis. And with social media coming in, that's a monumental change. Yeah, that's like people who went from radio to television, who had never worked in TV. Change, that kind of change, and so there are times when I've been, I don't want to say reluctant, but apprehensive about it, and so you just have to finally accept it. Even me in social media, I'm not the greatest in social media, but I need to accept that. That's the future. Yeah. In addition to what we do on broadcast and on on streaming, as we're doing right now.
How do you do that and authentically continue to be yourself? And when did you find your voice? Because folks who are not in the industry, they talk about us in a way, and not in a bad way. They're like your TV voice, or they crave someone authentic, and you're somebody who's always authentic. And how I asked you two questions. I know I'm asking you a lot right now because I love to pick your brain, but how were you able to find your voice and continue to be authentic?
For so long, as a little kid, as a young kid who listened in radio, I used to listen to radio stations that I could pick up that came out of New York and Chicago and Philadelphia. And up north, they could just boom those signals all over the country.
Yeah.
And so my dream was to be like one of those guys. There was always somebody that I would pick out. It could be cousin Brucey Morrow from WABC, Larry Lujak from WLS, Wolfman Jack, all these people. And so there were times in my career that I tried to sound like them. There's a character in radio, we call him Ron Radio, and it's the unauthentic, the one who's a phony wannabe DJ that sounds like this, everybody. We got the greatest music for you right now, Ron Radio here. And so in my career, there was probably a time when I was a bit Ron Radio-ish, and I'll never forget, I sent a tape. I was working in radio in Greenville, North Carolina, when I was at East Carolina, and it was an opening at a major radio station in New York City. I sent a tape, thinking that, man, I'm ready for the big time. I sent a tape and a resume tape, an audition tape. Weeks go by, months go by, 2 months go by, and they still had the opening. So I called the radio station.
Oh, bold.
To talk to the program director. So he comes on the phone, and he answers. I said, hey, this is Larry Sprinkle. I'm in WPXY in Greenville, North Carolina. I noticed you still have the opening. I want to make sure you got my tape. It was a long pause, a really long pause. He comes back on and he goes, yeah, we got your tape. You need a little more seasoning. And it was a reality check.
Wow.
It was like, and I said thank you and hung up, and I realized, you're not as good as you think you are.
Yeah.
I think I was like 19 at the time, 18 or 19, and I knew that I did need more seasoning. So what you're talking about, to find yourself, for me, took some time. In radio, it took a number of years, but I think finally there's a maturity, a maturation that takes place when you realize you got to be who you are.
Yeah.
I can't be somebody. I can't be that guy, or in television, you've got to be genuine about it, because in television people see you.
Yeah.
And then in this business, not only see you here, but out there as well.
Yeah.
You can't be. Well, I'm sure you try to be 2 or 3 different people, or you got to just be yourself, because people finally realize, I'm not sure about that, or they go, wow, they really is the same guy. I don't know.
Man, like I cringe when I look at my old stuff, because I know who I was trying to be at that point in my career, and I don't cringe as much now, because I'm like, oh, this is me. This is me. Yeah.
I mean, you go back and you look at, or listen or look at tapes, and you go, I'm just not sure about that. And the reality, for me, the reality is, every time that I see today anything that I've done, I see all the pockmarks. Yeah. All the creases, I go, oh my gosh, the way I said that word, or the way I look.
Yeah.
It's like it's like it's always something that I feel like I've got to change. You're never perfect. There's always improvement that can be made.
It's a hard industry.
Oh,
it's a hard industry.
Yeah, it is.
What you got, Carlene?
What would you tell the young ones out there that might be watching or whatever, who want to get into this industry and be here 40 years later at the same station or anything like that? What would you tell? What would you tell somebody who's like fresh into the business? It's a hard business. It's tough.
Yeah, it's
and
hard.
like you said, it changes
constantly.
Yeah. And the thing that what I've always told people who are interested in broadcasting is, first of all, be a good listener. You never learn by talking. You learn by listening, and you can absorb from everyone, and the people you work with. Your managers and those that are the ones you admire, watch and listen, and you can learn, and be yourself, obviously. But I always say that, and not that the world has changed, because when I was coming along, you couldn't go from that radio station that I worked for in Forest City to New York City. You couldn't go from there to Charlotte. There are steps in between. And I say experience is the teacher.
Yeah.
You know, there's on-the-job training. And for a lot of people who are lucky enough to go from maybe college or small market into the Charlotte market this size, you know, the best of luck to you.
Yeah.
But experience, there's no better teacher than experience. Than learning those lessons early on in your career, making those mistakes, and not making those mistakes in front of a huge audience. It gets much tougher that way.
Oh, man. A Hall of Famer, a great person, great human being. I'm honored to work with you. And I just love those little moments when Larry, when he has time, when he's not running around, and he stops by my desk, or I run into him in the hallway, and we have a brief chat.
Always enjoy very much.
It's a great time.
It's great to be here with you too. You know, this is you guys do it. You know, speaking of genuineness and reality of what goes on today, what happens in this studio is so special to me, because this is what it should be.
Yeah.
You know, that you have the ability to converse and do so genuinely, and the type of conversations you want to listen to. You guys have mastered that here in this.
Oh, man.
Larry?
Yeah, that's very special.
Larry one up in us on the compliments.
I know.
And I have another compliment.
That's
No, thank you. It means a lot.
It means a lot.
And we look up to you, Larry.
Yes.
And look, it's been a long time since you've been here on the program, Larry. I know you're busy, but you got to make some time for us here
I
on
would
the
love
stream.
to. You anytime you want me to slide
We got
in
nothing
here.
but time, Larry.
Yeah.
You want to come in here? We
Yeah.
can chit chat.
Come on,
Okay.
man. Yeah.
Just walk on by.
Yeah, walk on by.
Walk on
I'm
by.
only 50
Give
feet
a
or
wave.
60 feet, you know, behind that little room there.
Yeah,
So,
we'll walk on
I'd
by.
love to.
Just say hey.
Yeah,
thank
We'll
you.
have you on.
I'd love to.
Ladies and
Appreciate it.
gentlemen,
Okay,
Larry
thank you.
Sprinkle. Thank you for your time, Larry.
Always.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here in just 2 minutes here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.